Okay, so today's podcast, we're going to be talking about a few things, okay? From the things happening in America right now, particularly in a very liberal state. Olivia Chow giving $300,000 to Pride. We're going to be talking about the people on TikTok right now in the campaign that is still very much anti-pipeline. We're going to be talking about the wildfires and why not even the left is falling for Mark Carney anymore. So welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me get my name out into the ether because the CRTC really hates me. Let's get into today's video. I seen this one video and it was like AI, and it was a Sasquatch running out of the fires being like, oh, they're doing this to get rid of pipelines. And I really wish that I had the capability to interview Marty up north because I wish I could go to Alberta and see and interview him and show him and make a TikTok about it, because I know that a lot of creators don't have TikTok, because the amount of mis and dis, and I really don't even like saying those words, okay, but the irony of the mis and disinformation thing is that basically whatever the liberals say that they're against, they're actually doing, because when I looked into all of the oil stuff, I could not believe how humane and ethical Canada does it. And I couldn't believe how, obviously, here's the thing. Obviously, you are going to have accidents with anything and everything. The fact of the matter is that there are more accidents by the amount of stuff that we ship to Canada and more pollution than it would be to put in pipelines, guys. I have no idea why there is this giant push, because what the left doesn't realize is that if we don't have enough power to power all of the people that they continuously think are okay to bring over here to pour from an empty cup. Do you know what it means? Do you know what it means when our food costs too much that people can't afford it? It means poverty. Do you know what happens when gas to heat our homes? What happens when we no longer have electricity? What happens when we can't heat our home? Guys, people will die. To be frank, people will die, and they already have been, okay? Because the only plan to save the environment is to put people into poverty. To save, that's the idea of the panini press, okay? The only time that it's shown to go down, the emissions, was the panini press. Why? Because we were all in our homes. And that's exactly their plan, because they don't actually care about the planet, okay? You guys would see the windmill turbines, graveyards, okay? And lithium pits. Guys, seriously, this government, and here's the thing. I actually do think that Mark Carney will pull through with some sort of green energy. Do I think that he's going to do the pipeline? No. Do I approve of that? No. Do I understand why it has to be all one thing or nothing? Hello, we should be trying to use several different kinds of energy and let people choose. Is that not what's best? We need to get into nuclear, and they used to paint nuclear as horrible for the environment too. So I'm over it, okay? The left needs to get a grip. You need to, if you're on the left watching this video, you need to look into how Sweden and Denmark actually make the system. And I'm not saying that we need to go to Denmark or Sweden, right? But these are the things that the left always say is possible because of Sweden, because of Denmark. Sweden and Denmark export their resources. That's why they're so capable of working 4 days a week. And yes, they're taxed, but they also have, you know what I mean? They also have a completely different outlook on life in Sweden. Okay, they actually value families. You cannot, the left thinks that they want socialism. You guys couldn't handle socialism. You really couldn't, because it would mean that you'd have to export from the earth, whether you liked it or not, okay? Next, we're going to talk about how the left in Canada is talking about the things happening in that certain state right now, okay? Oh, they suddenly have a problem with ICE. Really? Because you guys were cheering on when they brought When police officers not even in real uniform, by the way, you guys want to talk about people covering their faces. Like, I cannot believe the amount of hypocrisy that I have seen from the left. It almost makes me tear up. It almost makes me tear up because how have you guys stood for nothing and fallen for literally everything when it comes our way? Okay? Because here's the thing. I'm hoping that if Canada, just like Danielle Smith handling the transgender situation, very kind, very empathetic, because she knows that people who have intersex and people who have gender dysphoria are very much struggling, and none of them asked for any of this attention. Canada knows how to do things. I was really hoping Pierre would get in there and we would start deporting, obviously in a very humane way, okay? Maybe set up some sort of thing, hear out a story, you know, gavel, okay, you can stay, here's where you're going, here's what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that Pierre was in so that we could have seen how this could have humanely been handled. I get it, because America is very America, okay? But the fact that the left in Canada, like, and that's the thing, I can have nuance about the situation. I can see how deporting is the only answer. Guys, it's the only... And the fact that people who have come here have gotten special treatment, like I've told you guys, I got $4,000 stolen from me from someone who is from Nigeria. He comes over here, he's allowed to steal. I'm not the only person that this happened to. He stole $4,000 from me. Federal offense. As soon as they found out this person wasn't from Canada, dropped my case. They are getting special treatments. They're getting special treatments. And until the left starts advocating for reasonable immigration and not unlimited immigration, okay, until they advocate for CEOs to stop getting supplemented every time they hire someone that's not from Canada, I cannot believe I even have to tell the left that, because United Nations, which is a source that they like and respect, has said that the situation 2 years ago was leading to modern day slavery. Yep. And the left ignore it all the while, okay? And if they would stop advocating for people to come here when we are pouring from an empty cup and stop calling people racist when we have a problem with significant cultural differences because people are not coming over here anymore to live a better life, that's not what we are. We are a working workhorse machine where you can come here, take advantage of citizens, take advantage of the government, and then either that or be literally, these people don't know our laws, our rights, our freedoms, like rights as employees. Some girl was saying that she worked 90 hours in 1 week at one place. I'm not even sure what is going on, but it's an actual thing happening, okay? It was actually my first realization that mass immigration is not working and it's not a good thing and that we cannot handle this amount of people. And because not only is it bad for Canadians who are already here, and if we don't learn from history, we're bound to repeat it, but also the people who come here are not being treated fairly. They're either being treated way better than Canadians. And I can't even imagine being an immigrant. I would be so mad if I came here and I was working 90 hours, but there was a whole ass bunch of people over here getting free hotel rooms and stuff. I can't even imagine. And I can't even imagine being an immigrant who worked their patootie off to gain Canadian citizenship, to live a better life for their family, and watching people just be able to just come in the way that it's happening and take advantage of the system. All levels of government are guilty for what is going on, but ultimately the federal government sets the standard, okay? So there's a left-leaning creator who says things like, she's on there right now talking about this situation, saying that if you're born in Canada, you are an immigrant. If you're white, you're an immigrant. Okay. So my great-grandparents immigrated over here, had no idea what was going on, promised a better life. Although I think it's weird that Ireland went to another monarchy, but I digress. They were promised a better life, came here, had no idea what the government was doing, kind of like what's going on now, okay? If my grandparents started committing crimes when they got here, they would have been deported. I don't know what else, or thrown in jail at least. These people are getting special treatment. And they've been getting special treatment from Democrats, okay? And I just, drives me crazy. Why wouldn't they rally around when Laken Riley died? When there was apartment buildings being taken over? It really, really stuns me what the left, you do want to know why? Because TikTok, that's why. I'm not even kidding. The amount of, like, if you get into that algorithm and the amount of hate that they on the left spew about this, they think that they are saving the world. Going against ICE, they think they are saving the world, okay? And the problem is, though, is that they continuously look away from when the Democrats are inherently doing the same things as the Republicans, but very much cause violence when the Republicans do it. I do not understand why they think that the Freedom Convoy was violent and scary and abusive and all of these different things. My voice is kind of weird from being outside in the smoke, but yeah, why they think that the Freedom Convoy was so wrong for people protesting their bodily autonomy so that they didn't have experiments on them to be able to continue to earn a living, okay? But then they see how wrong it is when the state has overreach when it's immigrants. Not when it's their own people. They cheer it on. They still cheer it on. They still think what happened to the Freedom Convoy people was okay. Okay? I deadass saw a leftist be like, these people are criminals? Do criminals have jobs? Yes. Yes, they do, actually. You think that every criminal doesn't work a job? Because some criminals don't, but definitely some do. It's always the serial killer that you knew down the road who just went to work the next day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean criminals don't work? They just pull these arguments out. How about we actually get down to brass tacks, okay? Which is the failed Democrats, the overreach of the Republicans. Like, I don't think what they're doing, like making TikToks, is absurd, you guys. It's absurd. And I don't think people should revel in cheering on. But then I think about if the person who stole $4,000 from me was taken out, maybe even put in jail, I would cheer. So I don't know the answer, you guys. I'm somebody who has been a victim of a crime. And I thank God it wasn't violent or anything, but it was still a shit ton of money that I really can't go without, stolen from me and allowed to happen because the person was an immigrant. So anyways, that's that rant. But tell me what you guys think about it, okay? Do you think they're giant hypocrites? I think they're giant hypocrites, and it actually makes me insanely mad. Because like I said, there's nuance to these conversations, okay? Like, I don't think entirely what ICE is doing is okay, but I also see where they're coming from, and we also need to recognize that these are because of liberal and Democrat failed policies, okay? Part of me thinks that sometimes that's like part of the plan. Hey, let's let the liberals and the Democrats ruin everything so we can come in and be super authoritarian. At least I can think about things like that. I don't think the left has the capability to think like that. If the left still thinks that they are colonizers, I don't know what to tell you, because you say you're colonizers, you recognize it, and then you continuously vote in these white men, white rich men. You say you hate colonizers so much, but you stand on Western medication being the be and end all of everything. I don't understand the cognitive dissonance, okay? Just like, did I talk about Olivia Chow giving $300,000 to Pride? Because you know how all of the sponsors pulled out? Yeah, Olivia Chow, $300,000 to Pride. Girl. There was a old elder, and I got this from Trish Woods, old elderly woman stuck in her home because of the snowplow situation in Toronto. 9 days. Oh, don't even. Can I just have a moment of silence before I crash out? Because you have got to be Olivia Chow. Toronto's a mess. Toronto's a mess. And you're out here donating to parades? Even if you said, I'm donating $300,000 to the Christmas, unless it was going to the food bank or something. You guys changed Blue Jay Way to Taylor Swift Way when she came here. I have quite frankly had enough of this virtue signaling crap, because the fact that the left is not so angry that they have none of these people are your friends. No government is your friend, okay? I don't know what to tell you. But accepting $300,000 from taxpayers is not going to look good. Hospital? No. Food bank? No. Homeless shelter? No. Fixing up a building to make it into a homeless shelter? No. Donate it to Pride.
Increase in funding from the city to $350,000 this year through the city's cultural festival funding program.
Goodbye. And here's the thing, is that I don't approve of what happened during the 2020 situation. If you know, you know. I'm not sure I'm even allowed to say it, because once again, 1984. Okay? I think they should have been stopped. They destroyed neighborhoods. I also understand being upset about what they're doing, like ICE, and how they're going about it. But violence is not the answer. And the left always accuses the right of being violent and all of these things. Y'all think that you can assault police officers and not be in trouble for it. Here's the thing. The Freedom Convoy was peaceful. I appreciate peaceful protesting. I understand people's anger with the government, but let's not pretend that the left thinks that the Democrats are the answer, and they just look away conveniently when the Democrats are allowing crime to happen or allowing unchecked whatever. Like I said before, it's a crazy situation to see it from both perspectives. I hope one day I am supported by Ground News. That would be a dream of mine, because truly both sides can seem extremely biased in this scenario. And so I hope that I can bring some sort of opinion where other people share, or I would like to hear your opinions about it. Because honestly, I do think that the way that they've been doing things is kind of messy and American, you know what I mean? Just very performative. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm also like, okay, but this stuff needs to be done. We can't keep doing stuff like this. And so I would like to know what your guys' opinion on it is. I am very nuanced and I like hearing other opinions, so let me know, okay? Next, we're moving on to Mark Carney and the left, even on TikTok. I will say this, as much as the left on TikTok is pushing this whole other narrative, they are some of them too, I've seen too, upset about C2. And I was watching Frank Vaughn and he had a very interesting perspective. He talked about how he looked through the bill and he said, how else do we think that we're going to catch all of the rug stuff and stuff like that? Maybe putting in other, what Pierre wanted to do, which was scanners. You can't tell me there's no scanners these days that detect rugs. Come on. Or let's even use dogs. You know what I mean? And if a dog smells something of substance in your bag or whatever. But here's the thing, is that until the government is held accountable for the embezzlement and the fraud that they have done, why should everyone else be held to a different standard than the government? I understand, guys. I don't like what's going on in Canada. The rampant crime. We are an international hub for so many things, okay? But the government cannot get more of our information. How could they possibly get more? We all know that they're in bed with tech. We know that they can come to our house and legally do shit like Mr. Big. If you guys don't know what Mr. Big is, it's basically if a police officer in Canada, police department in Canada thinks you're guilty, they will send out, and sometimes it's years, they will send someone out to pretend to be your friend to get details and to get you to confess. That's legal somehow in Canada, you guys, okay? Canada, the more I realize and live through Canada, the more I realize we do not have freedom. I'm just saying, like Trudeau said, they can do basically anything they want, that vetoes our rights. Out of Trudeau's mouth himself. And here's the thing, is that me and you guys, we could honestly probably sit here and have 5 comments come together and figure out a better way to handle it. Yeah, and the pew grab. Okay. A big problem we have in this government is how incredibly inept the cabinet ministers can be. Like the guy who doesn't even know about the course that law-abiding you-know-what owners have to take in Canada, yet he's in charge of them. This country, I am praying every day. I am praying every day, because what are we living in, you guys? What is going on? I don't even know what's real. I don't mean to freak people out, but I love sharing my opinions and getting this out and talking about it, because oh my gosh, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like, just watching the hypocrisy from the left. I would also like to talk about how is Canada on fire like this? I'm sorry, you guys took $42 billion of revenue from the carbon tax, and we don't have proper water bombers. We don't have evacuation plans for people. We're not listening to Indigenous people when they talk about having controlled burns. Like, what is going on in Canada? The wildfire situation makes me so angry. I live in a place where there are, not right now, but like last year, we had one 15 minutes from our house. Cobalt, Ontario had them. Nobody cares. So many people in Canada are realizing how little our government cares about us. How anybody in the world cares about us, despite us going to California and helping them out during their situation, their wildfire situation. Nobody cares about Canadians. Not our government, not anybody around the world. And it's sad. Because the only people, and like I've seen videos, guys, of people being trapped in places, like workers, like I don't know if you guys know this, but like my husband used to work at a place where his job was to crush rock into gravel, and he would work like 2 hours from a main road, and it honestly makes me so emotional, because they just don't care. As Michael Jackson would say, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us, because they don't. And the stories coming out of I am somebody who cries. Like, I'm sorry, it's just who I am. It is what it is, but like someone's got to. I'm sorry, I commented on someone talking about MAID, and I was like, this made me cry my eyes out. I cannot believe that people are just chilling about this. And they were like, oh, good to see people still care in this world. Yes, I care. Are you kidding? When you watch news programs, like they talk about it like it's robotic. And I went to school, and basically they told you that you have to like be a robot. If you want to chase the story, if you want to get all of this stuff, like you have to be a robot, and you have to basically want tragedy to happen. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't work in television. Not only did they tell me, hey, if you're gonna have kids, like this is not the place for you to be, but most of them were terrible people. I met some great people there, but a lot of people I met were not great people and had no bone of empathy in their body. So that's television for you. But anyways, yes, I am praying for Manitoba. If I am looking through the comments and I find a GoFundMe, I'll share it in the bio. I am praying for you, Manitoba, and just know that we are thinking about you, okay? If you're in Northern Ontario, by the way, you should have a bag ready to go. I have 3 duffel bags. Maybe I'll make a video on what we pack for wildfire season, because it's really overwhelming to think about. But if you have a bag ready to go, then these things can happen 15 minutes from your house and literally happen like that. So yeah, have bags ready, have food ready, have your car ready to go. We would be Oh, we'd be cooked. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about in the comments. And if you watch this whole thing, thank you so much. I ranted again because I had so many thoughts to say. But you guys let me know your thoughts, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.